Easter Jr. all he could handle in a controversial defeat in his last outing. He was supposed to vie for Easter's.
We will have a brief interview by Showtime's Hall of Fame broadcaster Steve Farhood.
Javier Fortuna gave Robert Easter Jr. all he could handle in a controversial defeat in his last outing. He was supposed to vie for Easter's championship, but
he made a flinch.
Not the first time that's happened, but that's not the first time for Easter's championship, but Fortuna missed weight. That's not the first time that's happened, but he and Granados both come in at 139 3/4 pounds for our opener Saturday night as part of a triple header Showtime Championship Boxing in Dallas for the first time ever. So both Granados and Fortuna looking to get back on the winning track after tough losses in their last outings, but two guys who always bring it.
As I was saying, we're waiting for the Spence Ocampo weigh-in. We're going to talk about that fight. We're going to talk about the 147-pound division. We're going to talk about let me hear what I want to hear what he has to say.
All about.
Well, yeah, no, finally, you know, I got a good fight at the weight class that I've been wanting to fight at. Been waiting for a fight at 140 for 3 years now since my last big win at this weight. But, you know, there were opportunities that I couldn't turn down, and honestly, nobody really wanted no smoke with me at 140. But we're here now. Javier Fortuna is, you know, he's a former world champion, tough fighter. As far as trying to make me flinch, I thought that was cute. We're still going to fight tomorrow. It's going to be a great fight. I know we're both ready, and I know we're going to start off the Showtime telecast with a bang.
Being the bigger guy, does that mean that you're going to be in his face the whole fight? Is that the strategy?
We'll see what happens. I mean, I'll feel it out, see where it goes. You know, I'm prepared for whatever I got to do. If I got to box with him, if I got to bang with him. But, I mean, you already know I come with that heat, and it's going to be an exciting fight tomorrow.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Javier Fortuna, his trainer, Mr. Bermudez, will translate for us. Can you ask, you said to us, Hector, in the fighter meetings that Javier is pushing it, fighting at 140. Why take the fight at all then?
Nada, ya en este peso, nunca le digo que no a una pelea cuando mi promotor me llama. Peleo en cualquier peso que él me diga. Depende de la consideración que me haga mi entrenador, que es el que sabe de mí. Y en este peso voy a dejar un mandado para los que están supuestamente en este peso que dicen que son grandes.
Once the promoter calls and he gives him a name, he never says no. There was a few names that was mentioned before. He says, yes, I'll fight him. That dropped out. Another name, yes, I'll fight him. That dropped off, and then at 140, Granados, he said yes to him, and he's going to make a statement at 140 with Granados tomorrow.
One more quick question. We've seen Javier score amazing one-punch knockouts. We've also seen him box his way to win. Which are we going to see tomorrow? Which Javier are we going to see tomorrow?
Bueno, mañana en Arriba del Ring voy a dar mis decisiones de cómo le voy a poder ganar a Granados, porque para mí es uno de los boxeadores, no lo estoy disminuyendo, pero uno de los boxeadores que menos técnica y menos boxeo tiene que me voy a enfrentar. Es un gran boxeador, le tengo su respeto, que es un boxeador que viene hacia adelante, pero mi boxeo es demasiado alto delante de él.
He said, tomorrow I'll make that decision. There is a game plan, but tomorrow he'll make the decision. He's not disrespecting Granados. He know he can fight, but his technique, his style is superior to his.
We wish you luck. Good luck, Javier.
Javier Fortuna.
People think he might get knocked out.
Moving up a southpaw.
You know, hold on. I got to upgrade my memory, so shit been running a little jinky lately. But we're going to get it there. We're going to get it there. I'm trying to hurry up and get this done because we got a lot of talking to do. We got a lot of shit to talk about. So let me hurry up with this. Yeah, we good.
It's showtime as Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World, brought to you by TGB Promotions and Showtime, sponsored by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach, and Casa Noble Tequila, the noble pursuit. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome the boxers as they make their way to the stage. First, here is the undefeated challenger from Ensenada, Baja California, Mexico. His record, 22 wins, no losses, with 13 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Ranked the IBF #3 welterweight in the world, here is the undefeated Carlos Chema Ocampo.
The 22-year-old Carlos Ocampo looking
I
to
was
become
watching
the
him.
6th welterweight champion born in Mexico.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, the defending world.
He's got, you know, enough content on YouTube, Daily Motion, and on the internet for you to be able to kind of see what type of fighter that he is. And, you know, I just don't see anything really, you know, he seems to have a good body attack. He just seems to be like a deer in the headlights a little bit and maybe moved along a little too fast, because I don't think that he's nowhere on Errol Spence's level, according to the content that I've seen of him. You know, maybe you can tell me something different. He's not too fast. Yeah, he does have the height, you know, and he does seem to be a big 147-pound fighter.
146.5 pounds. 146.5 pounds for the challenger. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, one of the...
So I'm guessing I'm saying this. He's not going to be able to outbox Errol Spence, but will he be able to do something to Spence to possibly keep Spence at bay? For example, Spence's last 2 fights.
146.75 pounds. 146.75 pounds for the champion Errol Spence Jr. Once again, we'll have our fighters face off. Following that, Steve Harhood will present a brief interview with both of the fighters.
So what I was saying is, when you look at Errol Spence versus Brook was an 154-pound fighter coming off a 160-pound fight, boiling down to 147. When you look at Lamont Peterson is, you know, should be fighting at 140. 147 is where he should be, but he was the smaller of the two, and also, you know, coming off of a layoff. So what I'm saying is, we have Spence going against a full-fledged, you know, 147-pound fighter that Spence is not bigger than. You see what I'm saying? So it's all going to be about, you know, whether he looks. Spence going to look away first. Spence scared to death. He going to look away first. Look, see? See, that's the second time he did it. He did it at the press conference yesterday, and he did it today. Come on, man. Come on, man. You better than that. Be better tomorrow. Be better tomorrow. But one thing I was surprised to see or to read is that the event is sold out. 15,000 tickets sold. So that makes me think that the Charlos need to start having their own cards in Texas, right? If Errol Spence can do this, 15,000 in Dallas, then the Charlos should be able to do it as well. But it all depends on the matching of opponents, right? Well, nobody knows who Carlos Ocampo is, so therefore the you know, the drawing power is off of Spence. So I'm also going to wonder. Let's hear what he has to say. I'm interested to hear what he has to say.
22 years old, yet he seems very unfazed by the moment. Doesn't look like he's affected by it. How does he keep his composure?
Eres bastante joven. Es un momento grande. Se ve que lo estás tomando todo bien. ¿Cómo describes este momento?
Pues es el momento con el que había soñado llegar a pelear por un título mundial y contra un gran rival como el Spence.
This is a great moment for me. I always dream having this moment, fighting for a world title, and it's great to be against a great champion like Errol Spence.
Can you ask Carlos exactly how is he going to shock the world and score this upset?
Exactamente cómo vas a poner en shock a todo el mundo con esta pelea.
Pues yo vine preparado para una sorpresa y mañana lo verán.
I came prepared to give everyone a surprise, and tomorrow you will see it.
We wish you luck. Good luck.
Te deseamos
Thank
todo
you,
lo mejor.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Errol, come on in. So the moment has come that you've dreamed about fighting at home. You've only fought once ever in Dallas before. You're human. This has the attention, the ticket sales, everything has to get to you a little bit. How do you keep your composure?
The task is hand. I know I got a tough competitor ready to take my title in my hometown, and I'm not willing to let that happen. I won't let my fans, let this dude upset me in front of my hometown fans. So I'm going to put on a great show, a great performance like you always see.
Has this been even bigger than in your wildest dreams?
Definitely. I was a little bit nervous when they said I'm fighting in front of 14,000 plus. I was like, is it gonna sell good? But now I see that I got the support
That's supposed
of
to
my
be a joke.
hometown fans. I got the support
It's
of the
sold
state
out.
of Texas, of Dallas, and I love it.
And let's not forget, you're fighting in a division that's still as good as any division in boxing, probably better. What message do you want to send to Keith Thurman, to Sean Porter, to Danny Garcia, to Terrence Crawford?
I've been sending messages. I don't have to send any more messages. They know I'm the top welterweight in the division. I'm the best welterweight in the division. I'm the most feared welterweight in the division. And they got to send messages to me because I'm the top dog.
Good luck. Take care of business.
Thank you.
It's true. Is he not the most feared 147-pound fighter in the division? So, I've noticed we've had a good year of boxing, right? But this so far has had, despite, my situation earlier this year with the whole not being able to cover boxing, but last year was a great year. I'm wondering, it's going to be really interesting because let's say if Errol Spence wins, he is the favorite to win, to defend his IBF 147-pound title. Now, since he's getting his mandatory out of the way, because a lot of people I noticed don't understand why he's fighting Carlos Ocampo. Ocampo is the mandatory, so once a year, or it's supposed to be once a year, you're supposed to fight a mandatory challenger, whoever the organization puts in front of you. In this case, it's Carlos Ocampo. So after this, he can fight whoever he wants as long as they're ranked in the IBF 147-pound rankings only. In fact, let's go look at that now. I was talking about that earlier in my video. A lot of people don't understand because what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to map out what Errol Spence can do next if he beats Carlos Ocampo, just like people, think he will do. And also, the super fight, that mystical super fight of him versus Terrence Crawford. Can it happen? But more importantly, if it can happen, when would it happen? So wait, let's go look at the rankings real quick. Let's go over here. I got to fix this too over here, huh? They're making me work. Wait, can we put it over here? Let's see if we can put it over here. All right, yeah, we can do it over here. All right. All right, so you got to follow me. You got to stay with me. It may seem a little confusing, but I'm going to guide you through it. I'm going to hold your hand, all right? I'm going to hold your hand. Okay. So you have Errol Spence, who's the IBF champion, fighting the #1 mandatory. Now, don't let this. It's weird sometimes with these sanctioning bodies because for the IBF, if you're #1, then you're like next to be mandatory or mandatory. It's weird. But in this case, Carlos Ocampo is the mandatory for the IBF. So if Spence does not unify or fight somebody outside of his weight division at likely 154 pounds is where it would be if he was to fight anybody, which I doubt that he would. He would have to fight Keith Thurman. You know, he would have to fight the winner of Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter or Terrence Crawford. If he doesn't fight those names I just mentioned, then he has to fight somebody in the eel. It's just one of these guys in the top 15 of the IBF. That's the rules. I don't make the rules. That's the rules. All right? That's the rules. So it's going to get really, really interesting to see if maybe they try to get Errol Spence versus a Devin Alexander, you know, but I've been hearing Devin Alexander is possibly fighting Andre Berto. You know, you got Jesse Vargas, but Jesse Vargas versus Broner 2 is in like deep talks. And we got to talk about Broner a little bit later on in the video. So the pickings for Errol Spence at 147 pounds is not really there. Now, people are saying, well, Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford got to fight. They got to make it happen. Terrence Crawford is ESPN. ESPN is heavily involved with Terrence Crawford. Showtime, as you can see, is broadcasting heavily involved with Errol Spence. Those two networks coming together or letting one fighter go over to the other network in this day and age is not happening. ESPN, Terrence Crawford, they have dates to, dates to fill. Bob Arum, there's dates to fill. So if that fight was to happen, it's going to be on a situation where it has to happen because fans are sick of them not fighting each other. Now, of course, later on in the future, I can see Errol Spence fighting at 154 pounds. I can't see Terrence Crawford touching 154 pounds unless it's a situation like with Pacquiao fought Margarito or where Miguel Cotto went to 160 and fought bad knee Sergio Martinez. It's different. It's different. But the doors are closing in a little bit on Keith Thurman because when he comes back, people not trying to hear him fight, you know, these tune-up fights. Yes, he's got to get a tune-up fight because he's already been gone for what? Close to, it's going to be a year and a half by the time he steps into the ring, right? So he's not going to fight Errol Spence. And if we were to see Errol Spence versus a Keith Thurman, that wouldn't happen until, you know, mid-2019, something like that. So let's look at the 147-pound division. Who's number one? I'm going to go ahead and say that, in my opinion, Errol Spence is the number one by right. Well, not by right, de facto, not by right. Champion. He's the number one guy at 147. He's the man to beat. Keith Thurman is the number one by right because he was unified, and Errol Spence is still making his bones. Terrence Crawford is there, but with his political involvements with the WBO and ESPN, I don't see him fighting any of these Heyman guys right here. You know, you got Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter that's supposed to happen soon or be announced soon. I've been hearing, now tell me this, right? People have been bitching about paying for Joseph Parker versus Dylan White. Over here in the United States, they would have to make that fight kind of like pay-per-view. T, you left me hanging, still love the channel. No, let me tell you what happened with that. We couldn't do it. I'm gonna message you. I forgot. I didn't forget. I saw your message the other day. You know, he's talking about the us covering the Spence fight. You know, so for those who don't know, we was on a nice little roll. We was on a nice little roll before I got sick. And, you know, we had people at the events, you know, I was pumping out videos and everything. And then, wham, you know, full respiratory failure, going to a coma for almost 3 weeks. So now what I'm doing is I'm getting these videos out, getting back into the feel of things. And now I got to finish what I started and sending these people to events because right now I'd be bored, man. You'd be surprised. Like how bored I'd be just doing videos, you know, like I want to be out there in the mix now, especially since I got like a new lease on life. Like I want to be at these events, not necessarily like these super big events, but I want to, you know, Like, for example, Atlantic City got some events coming up. The Kovalev fight's going to be in Atlantic City. That's about an hour, hour and a half drive from me. I want to be able to get to those events, I've been doing this for so long. I got a website that's cost me money every day. I got all this stuff that I'm paying for, all this equipment and everything. So, I'm not trying to, like, backtrack. Like, it's time to get this shit to where I always said it I wanted it to be. And then right when I had shit under control, I got sick, So, but, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But, yeah, thanks for your patience, Like, shit's been rough. But anyway, as I was saying, the 147-pound division is kind of annexed from Terrence Crawford with his WBO situation. It's kind of weird. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. T-Street trying to get in the field. No, I was in the field. I was doing real well. I was getting to all the New York stuff. I didn't really appreciate it, because I was sick. Like, I was really, really sick. I was sick for a long ass time. So it was like a buildup of me being sick all that long time. And then when I finally got the big sick, that's when that shit almost killed me. Like, that shit was crazy, That shit was almost like crazy. But now, like with the Canelo versus Golovkin press tour coming up, I want to get to if they do a press conference in New York, I want to get to that. I want to get to Vegas again, the right way. I want to get to Vegas again, but to certain fights, pick and choose. And the UK, like, I'm in a very good situation. Like, I'm in a very good situation at this point in time in life to be able to branch out and, like, really, really travel the world. I'm just trying to get, like, my bum leg back. Like, right now, I'm cool. Like, for those who don't know, I had for a respiratory failure earlier this year. Then, because of that, I was put in a medically induced coma for, it was like 18, 19 days, something like that. I barely remember. And through that, you are paralyzed, so you got to learn how to walk and all that type of shit. So I had to do all that over. Got some pretty crazy-ass scars. Pretty crazy-ass fucking scars. People telling me I should get, like, a tattoo. They be like, yo, what the fuck? That shit is crazy. And I'd be like, yeah, I got to look at that shit every day, But we good. We here. We're alive. We're healthy. But it is true. I miss being out in the field. I miss being, I miss that shit. But now, being a 34-year-old man, I'll be 35 at the end of the summer. It's time to start it's time to start a life. I've been working so long. It's time to start a life. Like, travel around, still have some adventures, but get to these boxing events, man. We started some shit we got to finish. Did you notice, like, what's kind of going on in like boxing media, especially on YouTube? People have so many alliances to people, and with the racial stuff and all that, the shit just be contaminated. I can't watch nobody's videos. I never did, but I have no reason to. You got channels that just way bigger than me. We all been around the same. All of us was around the same time. I just had all these fucking layoffs off of bullshit happening in my life. But long story short, it's just, I didn't know that because I don't gamble. It's like a rule everywhere that you can't record in casinos. I was doing a live stream in the MGM Grand. I didn't know you couldn't record in casinos. No, I got a badass ulcer. I had a badass ulcer when I came home, yo. Shit was bad. I stopped doing videos for like a whole 3 weeks. Shit was bad. Let me tell you what happened. I took a whole day off after I had that crazy ass Vegas adventure took a whole day off, went to a show with my pop. We went out to eat and everything. And I said, I'm going to stay the fuck off of social media. I'm going to stay the, you know, fuck off social media. Had a rendezvous with a female friend who actually saved me from going back out in Vegas to go find somebody. And it would have been crazy. Then went to Outback. Was it Outback? Went to Outback Steakhouse, like right near the Strip. Went to the bathroom, started like throwing up blood. Then I just felt like this. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. But you know what they say? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. See, I still have the videos. Many people think that I took those videos down because I was embarrassed or some shit. Hell no. Remember, I used to do videos on YouTube back in 2010, 2011, 2012, pissy drunk. But it's music, the different places that I was at and the music I was playing, the videos were blocked. Hell no. I still got those videos. Those videos ain't going. What if something would have happened to me? Right? Those videos would have been around forever. Hell no, man. We're not getting rid of that. Hell no. But yeah, no, but this time, you know, we're gonna do it different. You know, I don't drink no more, so that shit's done. Next time I drink, I'm gonna probably be like, you know, drinking in the presence of a lady, but that shit is done. I don't drink no more. Especially since I was on all that medication. But now I'm taking one pill a day, and that's my multivitamin. We healthy as shit. We healthy as shit right now. I'm taking my one a day vitamin and we good. I was just outside cleaning out my truck earlier today. We're about to get back on the road. I'm telling you, we're going to be at all these events. Y'all think this shit, like this is what I'm doing now. This is, videos are easy. This is not what I'm here to do anymore. I'm not here to do just videos. I got a podcast. I got a website. You know, we trying to do some real creative shit, you know? Oh, yeah, no, definitely. We eating right. We eating right. You gave it up completely? No, I just don't drink. I'm not in a situation to drink. You know, I don't be like, oh, yeah, hey, you know, I'm going to go out and get some drinks. Yeah, it's happened. I've had a few beers, but nothing like I don't drink. You might as well say I don't. I had a couple of beers. This was a couple of weeks ago. And them 2 beers, I was like, yeah, I'm done. Like, I think, like, people who, like, I don't have nothing to drink for, I guess. It's not like I'm trying to feel good about something, so I don't be like, you know, shit is bad. Let me drink. Make that shit go away. I don't know. I'd be cool, though. So, you know, I had to learn how to walk again, so that shit was whack. And then physical therapy, I got out of physical therapy. I got out of inpatient physical therapy when I was in the house. I mean, in the hospital. Then came home, still couldn't walk. So going out to physical therapy a couple of days a week, that shit was whack. So I'm done with that. So now we're trying to get back out here to the field, man. Cover these fights. You know, I really was looking forward to Brian Jennings versus Joseph Parker. But Joseph Parker decided to fight Dylan White. That fight was going to take place on ESPN Plus in Atlantic City. What up, Marlo? That's Marlo Stanfield? The Stanfield organization? Shout out to Chris Parlow. He was a savage. It's Marlo's Corner. Yeah, don't fuck around with Marlo's Corner. They're going to get you. They're going to put you in the vacants. They're going to put you in the vacants. But what do you want to talk about? I'm still not convinced that Wilder versus Joshua was dead. Remember the beginning of the week, everybody was like, oh, shit. You know, Wilder versus Joshua was done, or Joshua versus Wilder was done. They agreed. Oh, it's not. So you not Marlo, like from Marlo Corner, like that's a different Marlo's Corner? That's a different Marlo's Corner? Nah, when I was doing the drunk videos, you got to think. Like, I'm going to tell y'all some real shit. All right, I'm going to tell y'all some real shit. I've told this story many, many times before. But I'm going to tell it again. My drinking accelerated. This was like 2010, to 2013, I was getting a lot of pussy. Like a lot. Now, those days are long gone. Fighting $1 million lawsuit. I was a caregiver for 3 people, a bartender. So I was drinking. I was drinking every day. Like, it would be like, go to work, pick up a chick or meet a chick at a happy hour, go home with that chick. If not, pick up another chick, stop at the liquor store before they close, party, dance all night, start the process over and over, go to court or some shit the next day or some type of meeting or something. But those days are long gone. I don't miss that life. You know, a lot of people think that like when you sleep around and you have like a lot of women and everything, it's like good. It's a good experience to have it in life for a short period of time. But in reality, that shit was destroying my life. All that lying, having to hide your car, managing those menstrual cycles. No. I'm sorry. I don't want that back. But now, you know, like I want to start traveling the world. Like I have the means to travel the world. I want to start traveling the world now. You know, start, you know, like getting, like my daughter is at an age now where she can start really like learning things, you know? Do it right. We got so many major boxing events. And I know that if, you know, and I know that what I've shown is that when I do interviews and when I talk to these boxers, my interactions with these boxers straight off the bat, it's like, I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to answer them or you're not. And you're not going to try to come in and try to play me and all that shit. So sometimes it creates like genuine, you know, like genuine answers to, you know, burning questions in the sport. Or sometimes it creates some Angel Garcia shit where it just gets crazy. Or who else? With a guy like Kovalev, where he tried to grab my camera. It's like, what the fuck? I don't care if you can punch me in the stomach and make me bleed and all that shit. You're not going to touch my camera, Kovalev. I'm sorry. Just because you had too much vodka last night. Just because you had too much vodka in your belly last night, you don't like the shining light of my camera. But yeah, being paparazzi is whack, though. You don't never want to be like paparazzi. I don't never try to be somebody like where I see somebody just walk up to them with a camera. Usually I have like a talk with them before I start recording, unless it's a situation where everybody's recording. I just don't see somebody and just walk up with the camera recording and just start asking them some old crazy shit or some dumb shit that nobody care about. I can relate to the vicious cycle to you. Realize later on, yeah, like I was getting a lot of pussy. I'm talking about like fucking nice fucking lot. But that shit just wasn't. It wasn't, and I got way more shit now than I did then. I'm a way better person now but I couldn't live that life. I couldn't do it. Like it was destroying my life. I had to move. My neighbors hated me. There was one situation where a chick was so pissed off at me to send me a message. She keyed my neighbor's cars and left mine to show me. So I remember I was on my way to work the next day. I was a bartender. I worked the day shift. I'm coming out and I wonder why like people all like around and like looking at me and shit. And a week later she told me. So therefore I just started hiding my car somewhere else, but also like avoiding my neighbors and shit. Shit was crazy, man. Shit was crazy. Who does that? Who does that? She keyed their cars, and the thing is, I was seeing it as I was walking my dog one night, thinking like, damn, a little kid went down here and keyed these people's cars. Nah, see, I can never be, you know, somebody that just has a camera and just like running up in somebody's face asking, you know, like just questions, just running up. Like, that's paparazzi. I'm not fucking paparazzi. If you're going to do that, then you might as well be fucking hiding in the bushes or try to fucking get fucking pictures on the gate of fucking Britney Spears' cooch or something. That's paparazzi, right? I don't want to see somebody in the parking lot and they walking, they leaving from fucking Kmart or some shit, and they walking, and you walk up like, hey, so what did you think about the such and such fight this weekend? Such and such. But you know, that's they shit. And also, I'm not the type of person that's going to say some shit on camera, and then when I see the boxer, you know, be on some dick eating that shit. I can't stand that shit either. Or I can't stand when, like, the reporter, like, okay, cuz. Like, what you think, nephew? What you think? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on out here, man? What is going on out here, man? And I'd be there with these people. I remember, like, the first event I ever covered in New York. I think it was Khan Algieri. And I'm in the Barclays Center, and I'm back there with, like, the big guys, with the Dan Rayfields, and the guy from the Fight Hype, and all those people. And I'm like, wow. No, what fight was that when I was with all of them? Because sometimes they don't show up, they send other people in their place. It was I think it was the Mayweather-McGregor press conference. And somebody tried to move my book bag, because what you got to do is when you're going to a press conference, if you want to move around, you want to actually first make sure your seat where the press conference is secure. So what you do is you leave your bag. Somebody touched your bag and said, no, your bag has all your shit in it. So you will see that people will see, like, the fighters come in from the back or the sides or something, but you'll see where the press conference, where the podium is, the seats, you'll see different shit in the seats or something like that. But anyway, one of them touched my bags. I almost snapped out and I almost had a fit. Tisha, you think Bob Jennings would have accepted Joyce fight in August? I don't know. It's up to ESPN. Remember, ESPN's got a big say in this right now. You know, they really were looking forward to that Joseph Parker fight. Joseph Parker, after fighting 70,000 in front of 70,000, coming off of a Joshua fight, fighting in AC. So I don't know. I don't think so, though. But they do got to find a name soon. No, I don't care what people do to make a living, because, see, I'm comfortable where I'm at, because the layoff that I had, I realized this. I realized at the end of last year, and especially at the end of January, is that we finally got where we wanted to get to. You know, I finally got the website where I wanted it to be. We were finally covering events consistently, globally. Like, we were pumping out a lot of content in November, December, January. Then I got sick. So now I realize throughout this time of being sick and laying around, now that I can do all this stuff, I'm putting the finishing touches on a few things in my personal life so I can finally dedicate myself to boxing like I want to, and also have like a family life, you know? I've been fighting for this for years. I've been fighting for it. And I'm close, like really, really, really close. That little death fucking scare shit, yeah, that shit was whack. It was really, really whack. But we back. So, you know, we got to cover these fights. Now what I'm looking for, let me tell you what I'm looking for. You want to know what I'm really, really looking for that I've been working on? Getting a woman, you know, that can enjoy the sport of boxing without saying a bunch of shit. I want to be able to do what I do and, like, go out with a woman and go watch boxing and go to events and shit. And I'm pretty sure that I'd be traveling like a whole lot more, like, to these events if I had like a chick going with me. I'll be having some crazy adventures when I go to New York too. I'd be thinking like, well, damn, if I had a woman, no telling what I'd be fucking, you know. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we back. We back. That shit, it was whack. It was whack. You got your work cut out finding that one, man. Yeah. Yeah. Like, all she got to do is understand that I do videos at random times and we're going to be going to boxing events and we got to watch boxing. That's it. I want to start getting musical guests. Like, it may not seem like it, but, you know, we're not that far off. We're not that. I want to believe that I'm stronger than I am before, but I was just talking to somebody about this, and you don't know what that shit does to you. Like, where you're like, where you first become like coherent, and you have people telling you like, You're alive. Like, we're happy to see you. You know, like, that shit is crazy. I remember being in a hospital, like, all groggy, like, going in and out of it. And doctors coming in and out all day, and nurses like, oh my God, he's woke, and nurses walking by like, oh, his eyes are open, he's open. Like, that shit was crazy. You know, and then, you know, your friends don't keep it, you know, they don't like sugarcoat shit. So they tell you shit like, yeah, you was dead. I remember we came to the hospital and we counted the different bags of medication that was going into you. Then this horrible picture that my mom has of me and my friends have of me, that I've heard about it. I haven't seen it, with like fucking big ass tube coming out my neck and all this shit all fucking all over the place. Fucking blocks on my hands and my arms because I'm paralyzed. Shit was crazy. But we good. We good. We good. That's the past. That's the past. That's the past. That's the past. So we good. Right? Yeah, we good. Listen, I buried the hatchet with everybody. Also, that's something I never, ever do. I never accuse anybody of being on PEDs without no type of proof or no type of anything coming out. I did that shit with Marquez when I was younger and less mature. And I still think, you know, he drunk piss. Cold winter 1, take her to London. Oxford Street, 1 mile stores if you get the dough, Bond Street. What? I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds nice. It sounds nice. I don't know what you're talking about. That shit happened right when I was trying to get up with T for the Pogrom fight. Yeah, I believe. What you talking about when I got sick? It was February the 7th. I don't remember anything. February the 7th was, I remember calling the ambulance. And from February the 7th until like February the 25th or 26th, I was asleep. I was not with us. I was in, that shit is weird. You don't know what it's like a dream. You know how like sometimes when you're dreaming, you kind of know that you're dreaming, but it's a dream. You know that shit's going to be no more than what? How long do people sleep? 8 hours? 5 hours? Imagine being asleep for fucking 3 weeks. Trapped in some fucking weird ass, fucking crazy ass world. That shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. Like, that shit was some crazy ass shit. Like, I mean, like, I remember at first I was crying about it because I was just so fucking weirded out. Like, what the fuck? So, no thanks. Never again. No thanks. No thanks. Never again. Do you think the IBF will order Pulev versus Big Baby Miller? They should. That makes the most sense. I was talking about the Dylan White Joseph Parker fight. It's pay-per-view over there. In fact, let's go look at the card. Let's go look at the card. Where we at? Where we at? Yeah, man, that was some trippy ass shit. Is it on Eddie Hearn's page? I'm trying to equate this card to an American card and wonder if this was an American card, depending on the fighters, would I pay for this on pay-per-view? This is pay-per-view over there in the UK. You have and it's weird because it has like these Anthony Joshua, pre-Anthony Joshua like leftovers in Joseph Parker versus Dylan White, and Derek Chisora versus Carlos Takam, which was announced today. Of course, you got Kell Brook versus Baby Cook. Now, if I'm correct, right? If I'm correct, hold on. Let me. Didn't this Cook guy get hit with a bucket? This is who Kell Brook fighting. You can't really see it. Oh, you seen it? Butler versus Cook brawl. He did get hit with an ice bucket, right? Let's see if we can pull a video up. So anyway, Kell Brook is fighting this guy. It's this guy right here that's being hoisted. A bucket's going to come flying at his head. Who had an ice bucket in the crowd? Oh! Oh, that was a tag team. Oh, that was a tag team. He pushed him into the bucket. Well, anyway, that's who Kell Brook's fighting. The guy who got hit by the bucket. That's who Kell Brook's fighting. The guy who got hit by the bucket. But you say it's the bucket challenge. Maybe it's like one of them situations where over there in the UK they serve like bucket beer to the crowd, like where they have the ice in the bucket and like the beer's in there. It seems like an inconvenience to be carrying that shit around. Maybe it was a wine. One of the wine coolers had some ice in it. We had them at TGI Fridays. David Hay threw that bucket. So, you know, the question I was having is, you know, would you pay for this card on pay-per-view? I mean, you know, me, you can't really count me because, I mean, thank God I don't have to pay for it. You know, but if I had to, you know, I would have. Because it's my job. I got to pay for it. So you really can't count me. But y'all cheap anyway. Y'all didn't even want to give up $5 for Crawford versus Horn. Y'all some cheap-ass bastards. Y'all ain't no good. Y'all want to talk all the shit about what the fighters should make and everything, but y'all don't be wanting to put up $5. Y'all ain't shit. I wish there was a way for there to be some type of ratings tracking to show us how many people paid or how many people watched Horn versus Crawford. I really want to know because I did notice there was a mad scramble for people like, oh man, I can't find a link for the fight. But luckily they were able to find one because of Box Nation. Box Nation saved y'all streaming bastards. You paid for Crawford Horn? It was $5. See, me, like I said, like me, even with that new Eddie Hearn app, I'm going to pay for it or whatever that is. I'm going to pay for it. It's my job. It's my job. I'm going to pay for it. You know, but I'm wondering, like, what would this card be equivalent to in the United States, right? For pay-per-view, for them to even consider it. Like, you got Joseph Parker, who lost his last fight. He put himself in a good situation because now this is his third straight UK pay-per-view fight. Remember before Huey Fury. Dylan White, really don't see him as being a pay-per-view name. In fact, that's probably how they got this fight made and was able to guarantee these fighters a certain amount of money because it's on pay-per-view. Then you got Kell Brook on the card. You got Derek Chisora versus Carlos Takam. That's a pretty that's a fight that, you know, depending, could have maybe been a main event somewhere, right? Do you know how Eddie Hearn is? I'm surprised that we're getting Kell Brook as a co-feature and not on his own card. Then you put in Conor Benn and a dash of Katie Taylor. Pay-per-view, and plus y'all don't pay that much for pay-per-views over there in the UK anyway. My $5 going to Max's. Max's ain't $5. Y'all tripping. Max's to get to get the cheesesteak you supposed to get at Max's. That shit's gonna be like $11 to get the cheesesteak you supposed to get at Max's. That shit ain't no $5. You get $5 cheesesteaks from the Poppy stores, from the Dominican stores. You get those what are they, $3.50 and $4? Cheesesteaks. There's cheesesteaks everywhere in Philly. Everywhere. Everywhere. And if you find that good Dominican store, that golden one, they always got the good beef. Pause. I'm keeping ESPN Pluses because, for one, I'm supposed to, but also, if I would have, if a fan was to ask me why should I keep ESPN Plus after the Crawford fight, I would say, well, you got to watch another Crawford fight. It's been announced that he's coming back in October, and also ESPN Plus will pick up on the international fights. That's like Billy Joe Saunders, I guess. Fights if HBO don't pick them up. We got to talk about this guy, too. In fact, let's change the subject and go talk about this guy right here. Let's go talk about this guy right here. I'm glad I recorded this, man. I'm glad I recorded this video.
How many viewers do we have?
Hold on. The Joe Joyce fight is tonight? Like in 2 hours?
We have quite some viewers. We gotta wait till we're building up this time of day for some good viewers. We got 300 nearly already. We're waiting for this broadcast. Right, just want to put a few things out there, people, yeah? Obviously, that business end of the boxing world, this is aimed at you, Martin Murray. Mate, I see you put on that I'm a shithouse and this and that you put on your Instagram. Who the fuck has got to be a shithouse from you? What you are is a bum. You are a tick-over fight for me. You was a tick-over fight. You were never dangerous. You were played eat the jab. You would have got beat comfortable. But I understand that you're frustrated because you wanted your paycheck before you give up and retire because you've got family. But there's one thing here, Martin Murray. If I'm a shithouse, I'll be in Manchester on Saturday. Walk to my face and say that. Walk to my face and say that to my face, and I will lay you cold up the floor. That's what will happen to you. So, for shithouse reasons, and you brung the David A tweet up. Yes, I did tweet David A's a shitbag when he was supposed to fight Tyson Fury. I did tweet that because Tyson Fury spent about 90 grand on 2 training camps and the fight didn't happen. So there's a difference between shithouse David A and a big difference between me. Yeah? I'm a man that will fight anybody. I'm a man who don't give a fuck where they're from, who they're from. I will fight any man born from his mother's cunt. Let's talk about business. The reason why you are where you are, and I'm where I'm at, because I'm a clever businessman when it comes to stuff like this. You are nothing but a bum who takes chances and desperate needs. I've got no need to do that. I have plenty of money. I've invested, I've done very sensible things, so I don't need to take silly risks for money. I don't need to do that. I'm at the business scale of the stuff now. So just to get back to you that I shit from you, who are you to say that I shit from you? Who are you, mate? Martin Murray, been beat 10 times. You're a nobody, mate. You're an absolute nobody. Sorry to get you off your high horse because you got announced to be fighting for a world title and that you're not doing it now because of the reason the big Jippo here, who's got injured and he's not going to take no silly risks. So stick to your track and I will stick to my track. There's a difference between I'm undefeated and not been beaten because I've been sensible. And you don't take chances at the business end. Millions and millions of pounds at stake, you don't do that. So I'm sure if the shoe was on the other foot, you would have been the same. But just to get one thing clear, that it's most definitely not because I'm scared of you, Martin Murray. Because like I said, if I'm scared of you, Martin Murray, I will be Tyson Fury's fight Saturday. Come to my face and say it to my face, and you will see what will happen to you. That's all I'm going to say. So everybody have a peaceful week. Plenty of minge, plenty of focus. Stay on top of things. Peace out.
I love Minge. I love Minge. So, the promoter of Golovkin told ESPN that there was an offer in place for Golovkin to fight Billy Joe Saunders on August the 25th. Which means to me that Billy Joe Saunders wasn't that injured to not fight Martin Murray, right? So now people are looking at Billy Joe Saunders like, oh, shit. So you really did shit house, which Martin Murray was saying is it's a UK term. Basically means you're scared. You know, you shit in the house. Like not in the toilet, but on the floor. You shit house. You know, you shit. And it's a shame because Billy Joe had so much momentum, you know, from the David Lemieux fight. So when he fought Martin Murray, I was like, okay, all right, it's a stay busy fight because he fought David Lemieux in December. And then the Martin Murray fight was originally supposed to take place in April, correct? Then it got pushed back to June. Now, no telling who Billy Joe Saunders is going to fight because the WBO rankings is not deep. And unless he fights Jamal Charlo, that's the only fight that will really, really satisfy fans. You got Danny Jacobs, who's in a similar situation, but he can't fight Billy Joe Saunders. People don't understand, especially American fans, don't really understand the dynamic of Billy Joe Saunders being a BT Sport Frank Warren fighter and Danny Jacobs now being a Sky Sports Eddie Hearn fighter. Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren don't make fights on this scale. Dude, a shithouse is a scumbag with no morals. Well, yeah, but don't like a shithouse. But didn't Martin Murray say you shit the house like you shit house? Like, isn't it two terms like shit house like means like you scared, but also I'm confusing myself. You know, when Danny Jacobs signed with Eddie Hearn, yeah, it was good for him, for HBO to possibly for him to get Canelo or Golovkin. That's the path that he's on. But once he did that and left Al Heyman, it became more difficult for him to get, you know, a Billy Joe Saunders fight because of that. Now, if he was still over on Showtime, he could have possibly got the Billy Joe Saunders fight, you know? You know? So now what does Billy Joe Saunders do? Let's go look at the, I still have them up on the screen. Let's go look at the 160-pound division. Let's go look at it. I got to remove Golovkin. Oh, I did. I took him. I got rid of him. Let me pull over here. Forgot. The chat's not over there. Let's go over here. All right. So you have Golovkin, who's still the WBC and the WBA. By the way, Golovkin is also now the ring champion, as Canelo has been quietly stripped. You have Jamal Charlo, who's the WBC interim champion, and Golovkin's next mandatory. IBF title was vacant. Sergey Derevchenko was ordered to fight Danny Jacobs, but isn't Danny Jacobs and Sergey Derevchenko both trained by the same trainer? So which means they won't fight. So which means they'll likely order Sergey Derevchenko versus either Jamal Charlo or a Demetrius Andrade if Jamal Charlo turns it down. But first, Daniel Jacobs have to turn it down. My rankings are old. Let me go look. I know they're old, but still, the same fighters are still there. I know it's old, but the same fighters are still there, right? Remember, you can't. The reason why my rankings are probably old is because, remember, you can't update all your rankings all at, like, as soon as they come out. You have to wait for all of them to come out. It's hard to explain, but you should know what I'm talking about. So these must have just came out. When did they come out? Man, it just came out last Friday. You acting like it's not even that old. It just came out last Friday. So Charlo jumped ship. So therefore, they're going to go to, this is the IBF rankings right here. So therefore, they're going to go to Demetrius Andrade. And then if Demetrius Andrade denies it, then that's when it's going to start becoming or turning into sacred food for Sergey Derevchenko. Derevchenko will be ordered to fight a Tommy Langford, a Martin Murray, a Kamal Cesar Meta, Rafael Bajarin, Albert Onions. Sacred food. There's nothing but sacred food down here. This food is so sacred. So it starts getting ugly. So the point I was trying to make is when it comes to Billy Joe Saunders, and I'm pretty sure before I was interrupted that these rankings are right or very close to being right, because the sanctioning bodies don't all update their rankings at the same time, so you can't update yours at the same time. But let's go back down to finish my point before I was rudely interrupted. So, who can Billy Joe Saunders fight? I'm saying, listen, if you don't fight Jamal Charlo, then go ahead and fight Demetrius Andrade. You know, he's got to appease the fans. He's got to satisfy the fans. Looking at these rankings, there ain't nothing there. He's got to satisfy the fans. He's got to satisfy the people. Because he's been awfully quiet since Canelo versus Golovkin 2 got announced. He's been really, really, really quiet. He hasn't talked about how he could beat both of them. Saunders already fought Spike O'Sullivan early in his career. I think both of them was undefeated at the time. He's got to appease the fans. Fans are pissed. They looking at that shit. They like, yo, so you dropped at the Martin Murray fight talking about how you a good businessman and all this. You was in talks to getting Golovkin. You was close to getting Golovkin. Now you're not. What do? This is not looking good for him. This is not looking good for Big Homie. Jamal Charlo about to fight Willie Monroe in a hometown fight in August. Jamal Charlo, both the Charlos need their own card. The numbers are in that the Spence fight tomorrow is sold out at 15,000 tickets. So if Errol Spence can sell out in Texas, and he's not a trash talker or not known to be really much of a talker, and he is highly skilled though, then the Charlos got to start getting their own cards. You know? Get some of that Brooklyn work. Do you think Billy will still fight Canelo or GGG before the end of the year? It's rough to say because it's rare that fighters fight in September and fight in December like Billy Joe did when he fought Willie Monroe and then fought. It's rare, especially coming off of a super big fight like Canelo versus Golovkin. I don't know if Canelo or Golovkin will fight in December. I don't know. Canelo's schedule is May and September. Golovkin's schedule is May and September or April and October or something like that. Even though he will fight 3 times a year. Danny would beat Saunders for me. Danny Jacobs, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be real interesting, though. They got to come up with something. I was asking earlier, who was it that made the call? Like, let's say Billy Joe Saunders really wasn't injured. Who was it that said, shit, you know, Canelo and Golovkin not happening, Frank, but we fighting Martin Murray. The ticket sales not going too good anyway. Let's call it off. Who was it that said, okay, let's call it off? Was it Billy Joe or was it Frank Warren? Could you see Billy Joe possibly going with Eddie Hearn one day? Right now, Billy Joe's career hasn't been really looking good, you know? It hasn't been really looking good. It looks like he shit the house. Win or lose, doesn't Golovkin fight Murata come New Year? Yeah, actually, that seems like that's the next, that big Japan money fight. Yeah. That actually seems like that's what it's going to be. Charlo shit how when the IBF, yeah. I'm just finding this out myself. Now I got a video to do on what Jamal Charlo is going to do next. Looks like he's shithouse too. These fighters are shit in the house. They can't find a toilet. That IBF belt freed up. It was Sergey Derevchenko. And it looks like that Jamal Charlo was like, nah, take me out those IBF. He's a former IBF champion. He's like, nah, take me out those rankings. Shithouse. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I was watching this real early in the morning, and I liked the way it sound. So I was like, oh shit. Because, you know, the UK has a lot of terms. Like, for example, twat, wanker. For example, twat and minge both mean pussy. Twat and minge, you know, are vulgar terms for vagina, right? But a minge is like an old-timey type term. Like, it's an old-time term. Like, a minge is like a hairy vagina, like, kinda, right? Right? Like, if you're a wank or a bellend, you're a dick. Right? So where's it at? This is where I got it from. Did he take it down? Son of a bitch. Oh, no, he didn't. This is where I got it from. So listen, he was like, he pissed. Look at his face. So he was calling Billy Joe Saunders a shithouse. Like, he was saying, like, he's a shithouse, but he also shit the house. So he said it in verbal form. Listen, shh.
Money. Just think it's better you heard it from me rather than you heard another bullshit story. But the fight's off with Billy Joe Saunders. He shits out again. The first time was his hand, now it's his hamstring. We know that he's just trying to make a big money fight with Canelo. And I'm too risky to fight. He just don't want to fight me, but there's nothing I can do. You know, it's the second time I took myself away from my family. Got my body in this condition, ready to fight, and gets all last minute. It's cancelled. So obviously gutted, but nothing I can do. Just want to apologise to everybody who's bought tickets, booked hotels, booked train fares. Just say thank you.
So it's shit out. It's not. They don't say it should be.
How many viewers do we have? Wait, some viewers. We gotta wait till we're building up this time of day for some good viewers.
Wait, I'm looking for something.
A bum. You are the business end of the boxing world. We're waiting for this broadcast. Right, just want to put a few things out there, people, yeah? Obviously, the business end of the boxing world, this is aimed at you, Mike Murray. Mate, I see you put on that I'm a shithouse and this and that you put on your Instagram. Who the fuck has got this shithouse from you? What you are.
Okay, so he did say shithouse. So Martin Murray saying that Billy Joe Saunders shit out the fight. Like, he shit it out. Like, he shit out the fight. He was scared, so he shitted it out. Billy Joe Saunders saying, yo, I said on your Instagram, you're saying that shit house. So basically, when you shit out, you still scared. But when you shit house, that means you're like a scaredy cat, I guess. I don't know. But either way, I like the term shit house, though. I like that term. I don't know, man. You're confusing me. But like I was saying, it's not really looking good for Billy Joe. It's not looking good. Like, his next fight has got to be a fight where people going to be like, oh, shit, he fighting him? Or just vacate the belt, move up to 168, you know? Travelers call cowards shithouses. All right, I like shithouse. Like, I'm bringing that to the States. You know, so when I'm playing somebody like 2K or, you know, maybe Fight Night Champion on a Xbox One or UFC, I'm going to be like, man, you a shithouse. Or if somebody back out, like of a fight, or out of a game, I'm gonna send them a message like shit house. Or I'll send an emoji like with the poop, the shit emoji, and then put a house, shit house. So I'm telling you, I'm gonna be saying it for everything. So if a fight, like for example, Jamal Charlo shit house, he shit house the IBF title. He saw Golovkin got stripped. He shit house and had himself removed from the rankings. No, the Charlos fine with me though. They need their own cards though. I wonder what everybody's going to do with Pacquiao versus Matisse. It's a real damn shame that this whole ESPN Plus. Let me tell you, that Pacquiao fight, when Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn and the whole world was talking about it the next day because Pacquiao got robbed in the eyes. There we go, Robert. There we go, shithouse. Yes. 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 Yes, we got to get that rolling over here in the States. We got to get that rolling over here in the States. So when motherfuckers start bitching and pulling out of fights, we got to put it like the shit house. Like you shit the house. you gotta start pulling it out. But, you know, I thought that when we got Pacquiao versus Horn, I'm thinking like Pacquiao on ESPN. Then we were hearing the rumors of Pacquiao versus Horn 2 on regular ABC. I'm like, oh, shit. Shit is going to be lit. We got Loma versus Rigo on regular ESPN. And then it's just this Loma Linares. And then it's just this ESPN Plus. You know, I had no issues with it. But it's just like, man, you know, this is not going to get boxing more exposure, the exposure that it really, really needs. Putting it on regular ESPN is. But I understand that streaming is the future. I understand that. I understand that. But we got some real special things planned. I've been keeping them close to the chest. Even my partners or Mikey don't know. There's some real special things planned. I just need like 3. How many days we got left? 1, 2. Just over 2 weeks left. So, you know, we got some clothing coming out. As you can see, this is one of my, I got another one coming. This is just some, we got logos, and you can't really see it, but we got logos and everything. Things are really, really moving forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up out of here. Talk to you guys tomorrow after the fights, probably before the fights, depending. Who knows? I might come back later on the day, actually. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live.